Bermcannon Adventure here. This is the KTM 390 Adventure. It's the little junior model. And for those who are new to my channel, this is my user review of this motorcycle, and by no means am I going to beat the guys at Dirt Bike Test. Jimmy and his boys have done an amazing job. It's about 20-minute long video about this bike, and I'll put the link to that in the description box below. But for me, I shoot adventure videos and I take people on video rides. And I've been riding this bike the last couple weeks, and I will just give you what's off the top of my head, what stuck out about this bike, why it was good, and maybe some things that KTM can fix. So let's get to it.
Right from the start, throwing a leg over the KTM 390 Adventure, the bike is more suited for beginner or entry-level adventure enthusiasts. With its cockpit putting a rider at a more upright position, and its smooth, easy handling characteristics, and its MSRP at $61.99, this bike is very attractive for somebody who wants to get into getting out there and exploring. But if you're more of a seasoned rider and you want something to get around town, or what even popped in my mind, this would be a great bike to put on the back of a motorhome or a camper shell if you're traveling the country. And because of its low price, it's definitely an option for a grocery getter. The power on the KTM 390 Adventure is very sufficient. KTM uses this ride-by-wire technology instead of the throttle valve in the electronic ignition system being controlled by a conventional throttle cable. The KTM uses a ride-by-wire process with the help of an electronic sensor. So twisting the throttle activates the throttle valve, opening it up, this like servo motor, and it kind of gives you more of an electronic feel of the throttle, which actually I had no problems with, and I didn't even know this was the case until later I read up on the data of the bike. So throttle response, throttle activity characteristics were no issue. It just felt smooth. It activated. It felt normal, like a throttle, to me at least. One thing I remember about the KTM 390 is going up hills. We actually had this one fire road that we were going up, and we were filming. There was a couple times where I was holding the camera, and you can't grab clutch. The KTM 390 actually had great torque. I was able to roll on the power when it kind of got steep and technical, and then I didn't have to use a clutch, and I gained confidence not having to use the clutch as much on other model bikes from other manufacturers. It just kind of would chug. In slippery conditions, I felt it would just grab, and then rolling the power on, it would just find traction. So it was really good in that. And by saying this, I also want to say that the power is very manageable and forgiving for, again, like entry riders, women. This bike would be great for women as far as power delivery. It will not get you into trouble unless you push it hard to get you into trouble. Depending on how you ride a motorcycle, if you're a stander like me, you may find the KTM 390 is kind of awkward. With the handlebars kind of lower than usual, the 390 probably accepts more of a sit-down rider's characteristic than a stander.
Hey, so one thing's for sure, you're not going to hear me complain about this light on this KTM 390 Adventure. And that's because it's really good.
So kudos to KTM for putting an LED light on this model, especially when it's $6,000. There's models that are above $10,000 that KTM makes, and they don't put LED lights on them. So KTM has these things called rider aids that are built into the electronics, spin adjuster, which is more like a traction control, and I think I felt that climbing those fire roads like I was just talking about. The off-road ABS I really didn't mess with because I hate ABS, so that got shut off right away, as well as cornering ABS. I really didn't mess with these things. I like how I apply brakes, and I kind of don't want a computer to do it for me. The one thing that the KTM 390 may lack in is the room for luggage. A backpack, I know KTM makes a couple different small rear seat bags, but if you're going to go on a ride with a partner who has like a bigger adventure bike, you may have to stick some of your stuff in there. Unless there's another company that's developing a bigger set of panniers, that's something that will have to be kind of dealt with down the line. Because most people have been locked up for the last month, I think this is a great motorcycle for people to get out, explore the countryside, especially new riders, college kids, teenagers. If you already do adventure and you have a bike, but you want to get your college student a bike for graduation, I think this bike is great for that. Women of all riding abilities will also enjoy the KTM 390 with its lightweight, manageable feel, especially off-road. I found the KTM 390 suspension very supple and plush. And compared to the Ducati and the other models that I've tested in the past year, the KTM didn't really bottom out as much as the other models. Of course, we're talking fire roads here, and that's normal 40 to 50 miles per hour. You will bottom out if you hit the right G-out or right pothole. And the ground clearance wasn't too bad. Here I'm taking the KTM 390 for a little dip across the creek. This thing was about maybe 2.5, 3 feet deep, and I came out of it smelling good, and the bike kept running, so there was no issues there. So if you're new to this channel, my plan is in the next couple months to explore more of the High Sierras in California and explore more Baja, so hit that subscribe button so you can come along for the ride. Hey, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the next video. Also, check out the description box below. I got a lot of things in there, a lot of resources you guys can check out. And that's it. We'll see you on the next video. See ya.